Hi fellow traders, I hope everybody had a great day today. Day started out real slow, just like yesterday. Yesterday was just as slow as it could be. I was only in for a half a day, so after lunch I kind of took off, and residuals from yesterday kind of put me in the hole from the beginning. Yesterday I left, but I left a position on and I put a stop, and the stop never hit. So it never made it to the stop. It's not like the stock ran away, it just never made it to the stop. So this morning I was still in that position, but I had opportunities to get out at break even or a couple of hours profit, but I just let the trade work, and it just kind of went against me. So I started the day, you'll see, in the hole, $230, and then didn't really have a watch list, so I had to kind of wait to see what stocks were going to show some signs of life that would give me an opportunity to trade at the open. And just didn't work out this morning either. It was just a tough morning, but we got WATT to come to life after lunch, and that pretty much turned my whole day around. But I've got this massive headache right now. It's a killer migraine. So as soon as I do this recap, I'm gonna take a pill and lay down and try to sleep this off. But you'll see in a minute how stressful my day was. But this statement I have up here, really, it doesn't need any explanation. If you think education is expensive, you should see how expensive stupid is. And I used to see it all the time when I worked in a shop. When I was growing up and I was working on cars to try and make some extra money, I would see people try to do work for themselves and just really ended up costing themselves more money. And it was interesting. But it's just one of those deals where if you don't know, the best thing to do is not do anything, or take the time to learn. And what I mean by expensive, I'm not talking about monetary wise. In my community, you don't have to pay for classes. All the classes are free. You're a member of the community, you get everything. So I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about time. And we all know time is just as valuable as money. I heard the example one day where this guy was bragging about it took him 3 hours, but he changed his oil. He saved himself $140. Well, what could you have done in those 3 hours? Do you feel that those 3 hours that you spent changing your oil, was that worth $140 to you? And I look at my time like that now. Before I didn't, but now I look at my time as it's the most valuable commodity that I possess. And if I don't use my time wisely and educate myself on everything that I'm doing, then it's probably going to cost me in the long run. So I don't want stupidity to cost me. Stupidity almost cost me today, but it almost costs me every day. But it's because I spent the time and invested the time in my education and my development, I'm able to push through. And when I do stupid things, I'm able to overcome those. So that's what makes the big difference here. So we'll go ahead and look at the trades. Tesla was the first one that I looked at, and obviously I'm not in short trader, won't be for the rest of this week. I know that for a fact. So I'm able to trade larger names still trading with smaller size, but I'm able to trade the larger names. And here, Tesla, we had some kind of sketchy news. Well, not sketchy, but bad news come out. And I was looking for a rollover on this. And this stock typically moves $8 on average a day. The ATR is $8. So I figured, if I got in here, I could at least get 6 points out of this. But it just didn't move like Tesla normally moves. The volume wasn't here today, and it just gave us some crazy moves. You can see here where I got in right at the break of the 5-minute opening range low. Then we had all this happen. Now I'm not going to let this stop me out. It would have to actually claim these levels. I'm in it to win it. So I trust my technical levels, and I know that if they get claimed, then my trade plan is dead. So I held on to this, added to it once we got below this 313.73 level. And as soon as I got in, this thing bounced and came back up and retested the VWAP in the 20, which was fine. As long as we didn't break this, technically this trade is still in play. And I took some off here, ended up adding back because I'm like, there was no reason for me to take some off here. And actually, I think what happened was I forgot to put 313. 313 was where I wanted to put the order out, but I think I forgot to type the price in the box. So I put out a limit order on the bid, I believe. So, or the ask. So once it hit, it went ahead and sold some. So I'm like, or covered some. So I'm like, what? Okay, that's fine. So I got back in and ended up covering some around where I wanted to. And we were kind of working our way down, but it was taking forever. So I ended up just taking some off. And this was kind of out of boredom. But I was picking strategic, points on the chart, because we didn't have any levels here to base our trades off of. So I just kind of played strategic points. This one was good. Then I got back in here, took some off here, and then when we got the bounce, I went ahead and took the rest off. I was pretty much tired of dealing with Tesla because it wasn't giving me what it normally does. It normally really gives me a decent trade, but I haven't traded it this year, I don't think. Or maybe I traded it earlier in the year, but I didn't have the capital at that point. I was trading in SureTrader, and I just didn't. So now I'm getting back into the groove of these, and this just didn't move today. But just a product of low volume. So you see 275.22. Here's the MU trade from overnight. I had 500 shares overnight, and it just didn't work out. I could have taken it off and have made a couple dollars. Could have taken it off and just be down a couple, but I just tried to let it work. There was really no rhyme or reason. I didn't really have a plan other than just to see what it was going to do. And, hope is not a tactic. Hope isn't a plan. And that's kind of what happened here. So good on that one. Now RIOT, I'm not going to even pretend that I meant to do this. This was a complete error on my part. And this really is what made me mad and gave me the headache. Okay, I got short here, and I did a great job picking the bottom on this. Awesome job. Okay, I waited for this to break the 5-minute opening range low here, because we held that support here, kind of hung around. I figured once we broke this, we would be good. The smart thing to do would have been to wait until we came back and retested and got in. But I got in here a little bit early and held through all of this. Here's where I should have stopped out, but I didn't. I added because I thought we were going to turn around and come back. This candle opened, got me a little excited, and then it just took the wind out of that sail. And so I had my stop here, and unfortunately I didn't have a buy stop. I had a sell stop. And right here I had a sell stop that went off at 29.63 instead of a buy stop. So I added 1,000 shares to my position. I'm in 2,000 shares, and I'm down pretty big at this point. I'm not looking at my P&L because had I looked, I probably would have freaked out. I just know that I was down. I mean, you can kind of figure stuff in your head, and you know that I was down pretty big. So I just hung on to this and just waited it out to see, what were we going to do. If we would have made a new high relative to this candle, I would have taken it off and just ate the loss. But we didn't get a strong bounce here. Even though we were hanging on to the 9, we weren't making a significant move up. The volume was real low. We weren't getting anything. So I felt, if anything, we were going to pull back to this opening range low. And that's exactly what happened. We pulled back to the opening range low. Never could get it here. Never could get it here. So I went ahead and took some off here and just ended up closing it out. I got frustrated with this thing and just closed it out a couple minutes later. I didn't think we were going to lose this, and this was a smart decision because you can see I got out here at 29.18, and then at 29.25, about 5 minutes later, I just said enough was enough, and I read it right. You can see it blew past. I'd have ended up negative on this. So RIOT did not really turn out the way I wanted it to. Yeah, I could have taken profit, but I'm looking to trade. I'm not looking to stick to a strict risk reward. I'm actually looking to trade and, to make something here. So the last position we took was on Watt. Now this thing was running, and I'm like, look, I'm going to wait for a pullback on this, and I'm going to jump in. So this candle opened, we pulled back, and I went to jump in this thing. And I got in, it pushed up a little bit, and then we pulled back. I'm like, oh no, I hope this thing is going to take off. But then this candle printed, we did good. So I ended up scaling out at half and whole dollar marks because the way the stock was moving, it could hit this level and then sell off 50 cents and never come back to it. So I had to be proactive and just hit these whole and half dollar marks, and that's what I did here. And this candle printed, I thought, okay, hey, it's ready to reverse. It's already on our reversal scanner. So I'm thinking, hey, it's time to reverse. So I get short here, and it turns around and runs up and stops me out. I don't even think, let me see. I don't even know if I could find this. Right here. I got short at 15.18 and 15.19.55. Almost 2 minutes. It stopped me out just that quick. Same candle. And then let me see, what did I do here? This is what? Alright, so I shorted it Okay, I bought it here. I got out. What I did was I flipped it. It's what happened. I flipped it long. Once I stopped out, I flipped it to the long side, and I ended up covering it. And then aftermarket, you know, I was saying watch aftermarket. I think this is going to fall out. But you can see I made a mistake here. I was trying to go short. I kept waiting for it to go short, waiting for it to go short. And I ended up getting stopped out too many times. And it didn't make sense that I just kept, you know, messing myself up. So I finally waited till after close. You know, once I saw the volatility going away, the volume was going, and you know, that's when I typed in chat that I wouldn't be surprised if this I wouldn't be surprised if this thing tanks aftermarket. And then as we were coming, you know, I typed watch this. You know, I wasn't going to type that I'm trading it because I don't want anybody mirroring me or taking a trade, because I'm taking it aftermarket, because we have not gone through this yet, and you don't, and most of you don't know the risk. So I put the thoughts out there, I put the ideas out there, so that those who are experienced can look at it and say, hey, this is something that I want to take. But this is part of what we cover in class. We cover pre-market, we cover aftermarket, and that's why I don't really post those. I post the ideas, and you know, I'll tell you while I'm in it, but I don't want you following me in these. You know, these are really too risky. The ones that we look at in chat, the ones that we're running live all day, you know, those are the ones that we're covering. So, but once we cover these, you know, once we get through this section in the class and everybody's familiar with it and everybody's familiar with the risk, because you can look, pre-market is a little bit easier because we do have more volume in pre-market, but look at what happens to the volume once the market closes. And this makes it real easy for price spikes. It can spike against you 2 or 3 points and you wouldn't know what hit you. If you're not ready for it and you're not able to deal with it, then you know it's not going to work out for you. So this short pretty much took care of the $400 and some I lost that I gave back. I was up over $1,000 on this trade. I gave back about $400 and some on it, and then I was able to get this back. As you can see, here was before close. You know, I was trying to get a head start on this. 716.65 is where we were, and then you know, after I was able to catch this aftermarket, it wasn't a revenge trade. It was a clear setup that I was looking for it to pull back. I was going to take some off here at the 9, but it pulled back real quick, and then this candle started to print. So once we got to my target around 22, let's see, what did I get it at? 22.80. No, 23.25. And then, you know, I got some off there. Then here I got 23.80. I was looking for some more move down through here, but we did get a bounce, and I ended up taking it off up here at 23.48. But this was a, you know, an aftermarket trade, very risky because of the volume and how volatile this stock was earlier today. But it's one that I'm comfortable with. You know, you can't use market orders. You can't. You have to be ready, and you have to be 100% focused, because it can turn on you on a dime. All right, so that was our day. Nice day. You ended up real nice because I thought we just weren't going to do anything. You know, I had an $80 day yesterday. Only traded a half a day, but the morning just was terrible. Today was kind of like Friday, where we had a slow day in the morning, but then at the end of the day, we found a stock that was moving, and we did everything we could to maximize our potential in it. And that's what we do. You'll never see me jumping around between 5 and 6 stocks at one time, because once I lock into a stock, I like to ride it and maximize its potential. Because at that point, I know the rhythm and I know the pulse of the stock, and I can make better trades. All right, so you guys have a great evening, a great night, or a great morning, depending on where you are. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow in chat.